Great good morning, everyone. Bo Dietl leads us off on this insanity happening in New York City. It is a beautiful Friday, August 8th, 2025. My Cordaro Jewelers watch tells me it's 9:09:50 here in the great Northeast. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he. Broadcasting today from the United States of America. I can prove it because our president is fighting for Americans every day. It's also the place where the brave, like the veterans we salute today because we lost them this year, but John Basiliga says honor them. Charles Borchetta, Hazel Township, Eugene Ravina, his nickname was Lado. He was born in Hazleton. Carl Robinson, Pleasant Mount, Paul DePaulo, Taylor, Andrew Hyde, Einan, and Robert Seasoltz, Bloomsburg. The United States of America, founded with a certain knowledge and understanding by our incredible, amazing, indispensable, irreplaceable founding fathers, that government is not, shall not be, cannot be our parent, our guide, our salvation, our direction, not any of these things, but is nothing more than a necessary evil we require to organize and protect society. The United States of America, the country where, for the first time in human history, freedom was declared to be an unalienable right granted to each individual by God. Freedom couldn't be parceled out to groups. It could not be controlled by government or government officials because our great American Constitution ensured and codified that fact, including freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of association, economic freedom, and freedom of the press. If they use it to lie, so what? We know better now. Now, armed with these freedoms, and only because they had them, a ragtag bunch of immigrants, rejects, and their progeny created the richest, most powerful, most culturally diverse and accepting nation ever to grace our planet Earth. America, the only place specifically invented and designed so that every American can live their life in the manner they choose, unlimited by their background, upbringing, race, color, or creed, unhindered by the government or those who would use government to control others for their own comfort, benefit, or power, or all three. Well, this Bob Cordaro show, it'll always be convincingly conservative, lovingly logical, proudly and passionately patriotic, and reliably right. And so, we gavel to order this meeting of the Club for Common Sense, promising you a sanctuary of sanity, because an entire political party, the Democrats, have gone off the deep end, because world leaders and our elite class and our establishment has gone off the deep end in the pursuit of their own agenda and their own interests to the exclusion of ours. Now, at the same time that we've got to deal with those boobs and creating this sanctuary of sanity, it's so necessary. I mentioned it yesterday. We were at the Tech Bridge Conference. Don Webster has been running this thing for 7 years. It was our third year there. And you leave so optimistic about our future in Northeast Pennsylvania, economic and otherwise. Because you see so many young people, so many younger people, whether they be in high tech or whatever, and they're grabbing the bull by the horns and making things happen. It was a great day yesterday there. I generally don't like to get out, but and I got to look at the Picardo's Jewelers, got to stop across the street and say hello. We're going to have Alex Picardo on today, talking about a couple of things they have going on, the Picardo Jewelers gang. But I noted yesterday, it's worth repeating. Yesterday's paper, the Wednesday paper, they had this story about immigrants, illegal immigrants, and they're sworn in at Wilkes-Barre City Hall And you look at their faces. They're in the paper, and the paper's a rag, but they got a good picture. And they are serious. They have purpose. They want to be Americans. Now, this is the immigrants we want. These are the immigrants we need. And I don't know. I just clipped that out of the paper and said, no, I've got to mention this. I don't know. It was just inspiring. Another thing that was inspiring, never mind the young people yesterday, the young people who being sworn into this country as citizens. And I know what they went through because my sister-in-law did. She's from Russia. And they made her learn about this country. They made her learn about history. She knows more civics than most high school students who don't study on their own. So good stuff. Now, the other local story of great importance, and they did fantastic coverage here on WILK, the 2 troopers who were shot up in Susquehanna County. And God, thank you for keeping them alive. And God blessed us by keeping them with us, and they're in stable condition but recovering. And we will read. Maybe I should read it now. We usually do it at the close of the Friday show. My man Nicky DeSanto would provide me the policeman's prayer. And I want to do that now because we're on the subject. We may not get to talk about these great state troopers again during the program. Policeman's prayer. Lord, bless the ones who wear the badge, the ones who walk the beat. Protect and keep them safe while they are on the street. As they wait and as they watch, doing good for all, guide their minds and give them strength for each and every call. Ready to put their lives on the line, give them courage each day. Let them know you're always there in each and every way. So bless the ones who wear the badge, protect them from harm, always keep them safe and in your loving arms. Probably bears repeating, and hopefully we'll get to it again. We read it every Friday, and it is important for us to remember, and then something like this happens, and you realize there are animals out there who have no concern for anything. The rule of law, law enforcement, and I'm happy he's dead. I hate to say that. I'm happy he's dead. Somebody texted, I bet that your sister-in-law knows more about civics than Commissioner Gaughan from Lackawanna County. I'll guarantee it. Somebody says, do you think Bo could tell us exactly how he feels without the sugarcoating? Well, one of the reasons, and Bo is going to be a guest on the program today. He's getting married today, though, down in Florida. And so he initially wanted to be on the program, so I said, I'm playing your clips no matter what. If you can come on, you come on. But the details of the wedding overwhelmed him, his beloved Margot, who he's been with for a very, very long time. And that's good stuff. Somebody said, Bob, yesterday when I heard the Bulldogs say you were at the Radisson, I thought you got in an argument with Cutie and she threw you out. ALTS. ALTS back at you. No. We argue, Cutie and I argue all the time, but no, I wasn't staying at the Radisson. We had a great event. And then, by the way, the people at the Radisson were great. So just quickly mention, Wednesday, I got to go golfing. It's only my second time of the year. I told you I was with Vic Fangio. I'm not trying to name drop. I'm just my brother Ron and Vic's girl Cheryl at Glenmar. I went that one time, and now this was the second time I golfed at Fox Hill. My buddy Timmy Urich had me there, and what a great group of guys down there. It's just a great course, a lot of fun. We were with my buddy Dr. D. Sy. and our friend Roland Greco, and it's almost becoming an annual. So now we have a great time, golf, all that, cigars outside, and then I'm on my way home. So I've got a cigar lit. So I don't like to have a cigar without something to drink. I don't know about you guys. I just don't like it that way. And so I stop at right near the Wyoming area football field where we used to go out and scrimmage them every year. Anyway, we stopped by there. I stopped by there and go in to get something to have with my cigar for the way home. Run into these three great people. Two of them listen. And we may get a veterans tribute out of them. I hope so. And I was in a rush because I had to get home. I wanted to sit down and hang around with them. It was just great. And I couldn't. I had to get home. My dog is sick. In fact, I got to take him to the vets today. Poor guy. I don't know. We don't know what happened. He was out in the heat with, and he's a puppy. He's only 7 months old. Maybe not even. And he's been lethargic all week, so I got to take him to the vets. I got to bite that bullet. Stupid Chauncey. But yeah, I had to rush home to the dog. I couldn't hang around with these guys. But guys, it was great meeting you, number one. Number two, make sure you get me the veterans family, and he's got a family of veterans. And so we're going to, one of our guys, and we're going to hopefully do that very soon. I gave him my card. Email me, please. Let's get, the veteran thing is what gets me up in the morning. I'm telling you, not politics. The veterans thing. Maybe the Mother Teresa thing. And, of course, all of you. Of course, all of you. I love hanging around with you. All right. Well, we hung around enough for this segment. Let's take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. We'll hear from our great sponsors, a little history, a little music, and then we'll return. What a cute song. I mean, and it gets my attention. I remember the song somehow. Well, came out before I was born, August 8, 1960, Murph says. 16-year-old Brian Hyland moved up to number one with his hit Itsy Bitsy Teeny Weeny Yellow Polka Dot Bikini. One of the greatest inventions ever was the bikini. I'm sorry. I mean, this internet thing, it's a fly-by-night. The bikini will last much longer. The Republican National Convention, 1968. If you, I hope that the voice introducing him was familiar to some of you. That was future President Gerald R. Ford. But the Republican National Convention in Miami Beach nominating Richard Nixon. And he wasn't warm and cuddly. I'm going to tell you what Nixon was. He was the first Trump. He was hated by the establishment and the Democrats more than anybody. And yet, for the working class Democrat at the time and regular people, they knew Nixon was a brilliant guy, but one of them. And, so Richard Nixon, first term. Let's go to the phone here quickly. We got Mike from Peckville regarding our man Bo Dietl. How are you, Michael?
Good. How are you?
Fantastic.
So yeah, Bo, I'll tell you, I love that. That was beautiful. Plus the New York accent, I loved it.
And I wanted to have him on, and we talked yesterday, and then this morning I knew he was getting married, and it was like, Bob, I can't do it. He said, I can't do it today. I'll get killed. I'll get skinned.
Yeah. So the last time I spoke to you, I told you about all the Muslims in the Bronx. What he just said. Now they're going out in the streets like it's just nonsense. But anyway, I want to talk about how far down the rabbit hole of communism we went. I mean, we were on our way in a short period of time, and people were just letting it happen. And people around here, Lackawanna County, are still voting for it. So because of COVID, there was online shutdown of discussion. Doctors were silenced, taken off of online because they disagreed with certain things. Conservative political talk was basically eliminated, right?
Yep.
People were fired. Even people from the armed services were kicked out of the services.
Nurses, first responders.
Okay?
By the way, all people who did their jobs when there wasn't a vaccine.
Yeah.
When there wasn't a shot available. Then and now all of a sudden they get thrown. Oh.
Well, that's what. Listen, I in the medical field, I was a physical therapist. I do home health. We were required to work. Even if a person had COVID, we had to dress from head to toe, gown, goggles, go into the person's home. We had to treat these people. If we refused, we probably would have got fired. I had a nephew. He's a PA in New York City. He was working emergency room stuff, and he knew that these shots really were kind of a little bit dangerous. So he said, I didn't want to get it. They fired him. Fired him. Right? So, okay. So now when we got with all of that started the rabbit hole.
Who were the authoritarians, right? Who were the authoritarians, Mike?
Right.
Yep.
And COVID started making it worse. I mean, that rabbit hole got gigantic because of COVID. And then you'd have the politics was totally criminalized. The violence was out of control. The legal system was broken. And the immigration was totally out of control. They did that immigration just to pad their numbers. Now, what you see with the redistricting that they want to do, I don't know if that's the right word that's going on.
Yeah, it's formally called redistricting, but the negative term, the pejorative for that is gerrymandering. Yeah,
and they've been doing that forever. Okay. They've been doing that forever.
The governor of Massachusetts said, well, if we'll fight fire with fire, well, you've already gerrymandered. There are zero Republicans in Congress from Massachusetts. These people are crazy.
Yeah, it's all blue. So now a lot of times you did know that the reason they wanted all this illegal immigration was to pad their numbers. but it was more like I kind of
If
thought
Trump
it would be
cuts them,
numbers for voting.
if Trump cuts them out of the census, they're finished. I've been telling people it has nothing to do with voting, although that'll probably happen. It has to do with representation.
That's exactly, you know what? That's what I'm thinking, because I didn't ever think of that.
You listen to the show. How did you not know that? I've been preaching that for 4 years now. It wasn't about voting, although that would probably happen. It was about representation in U.S. Congress and in their state houses.
I can tell you why. My wife tells me I don't listen, so that's why.
Well, on that note, we got to go. But thank you so much. Always a pleasure, Mike.
But that's how close we came to communism in a short time. Crazy.
We're not. Have your democracy if you can keep it. Yep. Thank you, man. We'll take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. We're going to come back. We have a Veterans Tribute after our great sponsors. The weather. Jake will have the weather. And then I've got Alex Picardo. We're going to find out what he's up to, because he's always got something happen at Picardo's Jewelers. We'll be back with all of that after this. Our veterans this hour and every hour, this day and every day. Brought to you by our man, John Basiliga. And as we head to the weekend, well, that means Basiliga hospitality. Charles Borchetta. He was 87 when he died July 10th. He was from Hazel Township. Born in Greenwich, Connecticut. Survived by his 2 daughters and a great-granddaughter. He knew tragedy because he was preceded in death by his wife, Laura, his grandson, Victor, and many other family members. He was an avid and passionate golfer. He was a member of the ROTC as a young man and three-sport letterman in high school. During his time in the military, he achieved the rank of captain and was an MP. Charles and Laura, his wife of 62 years, loved their cabin in the Indian Mountain Lakes, the Poconos. Charles started his career as a teacher, working his way all the way up as a doctor of education to superintendent of schools. He drove a Greyhound bus in the summer. Charles Borchetta. Eugene Ravina is nicknamed Lido. He was 74 when we lost him July 29th. Born in Hazleton. He was a production worker at Soterios in Freeland. He also worked for his father's contracting business. Retiree of the United States Army Reserves. Pictured in his uniform in his obit. He was a member of the Immaculate Conception Parish, Freeland, the American Legion, and the VFW there, and the Highlands Social Club. Lido loved sports. He loved going to the casino. He lost a brother, and he's survived by many, many family members. Lido Ravina. Our great veterans this hour brought to you by John Basiliga and Basiliga Hospitality. Hey, when you're looking this weekend, Old Brook Inn, Far Street Tavern, Queen City Tavern, bar restaurants, can't get any better. I'm going to go see a first-run movie, Scranton Art House. Hang and enjoy your favorite food and adult beverages. And then for fine dining, a Terra 519 in Scranton and the Stegmeyer Mansion in Wilkes-Barre. None better anywhere. And then the nightclub to cap off your night, Sergei's.
Sunday with a high of 85 tomorrow and a high of 88 degrees on Sunday. 70 degrees and sunny right now here at WILK AM and 103.1 FM. Let's get back to the Bob Cordaro Show on WILK.
Love that voice. Murph tells us on this date, 1960, Roy Orbison had the number 4 hit. Got to play that. With Only the Lonely. Bob Cordaro back with you on the eponymous program. And let's jump right in. You know I'm a Picardo Jewelers fan. And it's an amazing store. It's an amazing tradition. Jefferson Avenue and Spruce Street, downtown Scranton. And got to stop by there yesterday with my son, Michael. And we got to talk to Alex, and they dropped their kids off. What, you drop your kids off at daycare at the same time, I guess, right, Alex?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's funny. Well, what do you got going on? Talk to me. What's happening?
Well, thank you for having me on. And next weekend, August 16th, people are going back to school. Life is beginning, summer's coming to an end. Everything's going back in motion. So we figured, why not throw a hot car, cool watch show at Cordaro Jewelers? We'll have special pricing, limited edition watches, Rolex watches, everything in my store is on sale that day. Bring your car down. Doesn't matter what it is. If you enjoy it, you love it, grab your kids, grab your family. It's a nice day. We'll have refreshments, little things to eat here and there, but it's just a nice day out, and it's a fun day before everyone goes back to school.
And that's what it's called. The what is it?
Cars and cool watches.
Cars and cool watches. I love it.
Can't get any better than that.
And that's next Saturday, all day.
Next Saturday from 10 to 5, all day. August 16th. We started this 15 years ago as just like, summers are a little slower. We're bored. Hey, why not bring your car, have some food? And it turned out, people really enjoyed it. So here we are.
Well, I'll tell you what. I love that little bar you guys have there.
That's the best.
I've never started drinking there because I said, then I won't leave. They'll be saying, Bob, we got to close. Yeah.
We've had some late nights there. We have.
It's a great stuff. Oh, boy, I'm excited about this. What is all right, you've done this before, right?
We have, yes.
All right. What was the neatest car to you? Because you're a car guy. What was the neatest car that anyone brought in?
Probably an original Ford GT. Just the history and,
wow,
where the car came from, original owner. That was pretty cool. But when I tell you, this is a different type of show. People really come out and support us, and they bring some things that you don't see around here.
Yeah. It's
a great day. Everything's free. We do it just to have fun. Like I said, summer's coming to an end. Kids are going back to school. It's a nice weekend out. Bring your kids, bring the family. It's just a nice day. You walk around, and then that's it. It's a nice day.
Is there a correlation between watch people and car people? There has to be, right?
Absolutely. Any magazine, YouTube, whatever you watch on TV, a guy who is passionate about watches loves cars. Or if a guy loves cars, he has a beautiful watch to go with it. It doesn't have to be a Rolex or anything like that. Seiko, these guys will drive from a Ferrari wear a Seiko on their arm, or it doesn't matter. The history behind it, these guys come together, and you'll see a lot of people. Everyone's got the same thing in common. Whether you're just a guy starting off or a guy that's established, you'll get along. They're great people, and we always have a good time.
And you know what? I've heard about this event. Everybody, the watch people, learn from each other, and they exchange information, and they love talking about what's newest, what's this, what's their favorite. That's a great day.
Absolutely.
Huh.
It's not really a networking event, but you'd be surprised at the people that you meet there.
Yeah.
If you say, hey, I really like your watch, what is that? The guy wearing it you already know is a watch guy. You're going to start a good conversation. He's going to tell you who he is, why he bought the watch. Then he's going to say, oh, let me show you my car outside. And it's a nice day. I've learned from being in this business that the people who like things like this, they're good people, no matter where they came from. They're into the hobby. They're just all around good people. That's why we do this event. Because people look forward to it, and it's a day for everybody. Whether you like cars or not, it's a nice day to bring the kids out, walk around, have something to drink, relax. It's a nice day out.
And I just thought those were your uncle's cars last year.
Right.
So
Yeah.
we got hot cars, cool watches next Saturday at Picardo's. Well, you got to check back in with me at 11:30. We got to talk about this more. I appreciate it, Alex.
Absolutely. I'll call you back. I thank you for having me on.
Alex Picardo, Picardo Jewelers. That is hot cars, cool watches.
Cool watches.
That's a great day. Next Saturday, the 16th. We'll be back. It's the
Yes,
Bob
sir.
Cordaro Show. Murph tells us this date, 1960. Fats Domino. He moved into the top 10 charts at number 10 with that song, Walking to New Orleans. That's a pretty good song, isn't it? And then the horror of the Manson family. 1969, this date. The murder of Sharon Tate and 4 others by Charles Manson and his family. Should have killed him. Should have killed him. Like this animal yesterday. Kill him on the spot. I'm against the death penalty. And it takes too long to kill someone once they're in the judicial system anyway. Kill them on the spot. Thank God. But unfortunately, Manson, what did he die yet? I don't even know if he died yet. All right, Larry from Plymouth's on the blower. Larry! How are you, Larry?
Pretty good, Bob. Pretty good, Bob. Hey, Bob,
Wow.
are you coming to the little hamlet of Plymouth for the Kielbasa Fest?
I don't think I can. Oh, I love that thing. And the Bulldog is one of the judges.
Is he? Oh, I was wondering about that.
In fact, Jake is here today doing the job because I think the Bulldog needed a day to prepare. I don't know.
Yeah, it's from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m.
Oh, it's fabulous.
Friday and Saturday.
It's absolutely fabulous. I've been to it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I said I'm glad about it because at least for 2 days out of the year, Plymouth is alive.
Well, see, now the only time I really have kielbasa is Easter Sunday. And I love it with horseradish.
Okay.
But I went down there. I'm trying to remember the name of the darn food truck. My friend has a food truck. You became friends with him through the show. And what the heck is... Oh, the something Winnebago. Why am I blanking on this? And he's got... I was blasphemous, but he's got this steak sandwich that is insane. Something Winnebago. He better be listening to remind me. What is it? What is it called, Jake? The Winnebago. That's what it is. And his food is fabulous. So I went down because of him. And I actually took a date. And she was from, like, New York City. And she loved it. She loved every second of it.
There were supposed to be 100 vendors there.
Oh, it's huge. It's huge. It goes
for. Come from
it's
got to
go for.
Larry,
it's got to go for at least a mile, right?
Yeah. Plymouth is a mile.
Absolutely, but it was absolutely fabulous.
Yeah, but Bob, what I wanted to ask you, you're a lawyer, about insurance. If a insurance company refuses to pay off on a claim, is there anything that you could do about that?
Well, if it's in bad faith, like a property claim, and I don't know, we're turning this call the lawyer.
Well, see,
if it's a property claim,
we had a storm down here, and I got roof damage, and they sent an adjuster out, and he said
they've got 30 days, Larry.
The roof was old, and it wasn't because of the storm. But Bob, they inspected my house 2 months before that.
They've got 30 days to make you an offer. Did they reject your claim? They've got 30 days to accept or reject your claim.
An estimate to him, which I'm going to, and then the guy said he'll send somebody back out again.
All right.
You know,
well,
but,
you're not.
Bob, it was good the day before the storm, but bad the day after. Does a roof get old overnight?
No.
You know, they're lying. They just don't want to pay. So
well, it's you've got they have 30 days to make an offer or refuse. They've refused thus far within the time limit because then you could get treble damages off them, meaning triple the amount that you're owed. But keep us surprised, Larry. We'll find out.
What about something like the Better Business Bureau?
Well, no. Wait and see what happens first, Larry.
Well, when I send this estimate, I'm going to wait to hear from them.
Yeah, see what happens.
Yeah, but I'll let you know, Bob.
All right, man.
Thank you, Bob.
Okay, Larry. Thank you.
Bye.
A rather pedestrian phone call with Larry today. Nothing exotic. Nothing. Jake was ready with the Twilight Zone theme. Nothing. That's it. We just talked about a roof. Well, once in a while. All right, we'll take a break and be back. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. Great good morning, everyone. My Picardo Jewelers watch tells me it's 10:08:45 seconds here in the great Northeast. This beautiful Friday, August 8th, 2025. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he, and it's a big day to fight for America, defend our values, and with help of our man, super patriot John Basiliga, and one of his great companies, Basiliga Hospitality, to honor the brave who have made us and kept us free. People like veterans we lost this year but celebrate today, including Eugene, Lato, Ravenna, Hazleton, Charles Borchetta, Hazel Township, Carl Robinson, Pleasant Mount, Paul DiPaolo, Taylor, Andrew Hyde, Einan, and Bob Seasoltz, Bloomsburg. So with history, our great founding fathers, and the incomparable Constitution of the United States of America as our guides, let us continue today's battle. Gaveling back to order this meeting of the Club for Common Sense, promising you that because of our commitment to common sense, we will provide a sanctuary of sanity to you in a world where a major political party in the United States, the Democrat Party, has gone insane. And where establishment and world leaders are literally off their rockers, driven by the agenda they benefit from at the expense of the people they're supposed to represent. Razor texts in. He says, well, thanks. I can't get that song out of my head now. You know, the itsy bitsy teeny weeny yellow polka dot bikini song. It keeps going and going. Well, they mean you can have a worse song in your head. And my man Rick Bigelow points out, he says, the bikini swimsuit was named after Bikini Atoll. I knew this. A coral reef in the Pacific Marshall Islands where the United States conducted a nuclear weapons test in July of 1946. Now this, I didn't remember the name, but I knew he was French. Louis Rayard, and I revere him, obviously, now. The French engineer who designed the bikini named it so because he wanted his creation to have an explosive impact, similar to the attention the nuclear tests were receiving. Well, in my book it is, and it's a hell of a lot more useful than an atomic bomb. But Rick Bigelow continues, he says, I wonder how many young women know that the bikini they are wearing was named after a place where the U.S. tested nuclear weapons. I don't think they care, and I hope they don't. Thank you, Rick Bigelow. That's a good deal. In any event, let's go back to sort of real life here, okay? We've got a local meteorologist by the name of Mark Margavage. And Mark, he's very closely follows the environment. And he's really into it. And the whole Green New Deal, this climate change issues, all of that. We've had him on before. And he alerted me to something that the Department of Energy did. Our Department of Energy. It's called a critical review of impacts of greenhouse gas emissions on the U.S. climate. And he is with us now to discuss it. Mark Margavage, how are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me again, Bob. It's good to hear from you.
We love to hear common sense, Mark, and you've got it. Tell us about the study. Tell us what it says.
So it's titled A Critical Review of Impacts of Greenhouse Gas Emissions on the U.S. Climate. This is a review that was published on July 23rd by the U.S. Department of Energy. I'm not going to read the whole thing. It's rather lengthy, but I would encourage your readers, if they're interested in this topic, to dig a little deeper and read it for themselves. But I do have some bullet points here to more or less summarize what the report covers.
Well, like me, Mark, I'd rather have someone who knows what they're talking about review it and tell me what it says.
Sure thing. That's what I'm here to do.
Yeah.
So the report highlights the scientific certainties and uncertainties in how human emissions, specifically carbon dioxide, affects the climate. This report is written from a U.S. perspective, so not necessarily a global perspective, but rather what it means for us here in the U.S. The report challenges the oversimplified catastrophic global warming narrative. It notes that CO2-induced warming may have beneficial effects, such as enhancing plant growth and agricultural productivity.
Of course, there's that.
Negative impact. Yeah, and we have discussed this in my previous talks here with you. Global greening. It's evident from satellite images from space. The Earth is greener than it was 20 years ago.
And this is because green plants breathe in carbon dioxide. They need it. It's essential.
Correct. So evidence suggests CO2-induced warming might be less economically damaging, especially here in the U.S., than commonly believed. With aggressive mitigation policies, such as the Green New Deal, as you mentioned, potentially causing more harm than good. Extreme weather events in the U.S., like hurricanes, tornadoes, floods, and droughts, show, I want to stress this, they show no long-term trends. They're not increasing. They're not getting worse. They're not getting better either. What we've had for as long as records have been kept, there is no trend up or down. This refutes the claims of increased frequency or intensity based on historical data, which you hear parroted throughout many of the mainstream media outlets. It simply isn't true, and this report proves that. As far as global sea level, we hear, the sea level is rising. Global sea level rise has risen approximately 8 inches since 1900. There is no obvious acceleration beyond this historical average, which contradicts predictions of rapid rises. If you go back over the last 20 years, you'll find news outlets have repeatedly predicted that the Arctic would be ice-free in 10 years. It's always 10 years away. It never actually happens.
Yes. And I'm sorry to be laughing. It couldn't be a more serious subject, but this is what these idiots do.
Yeah, it is humorous in the fact that a lot of people have been so propagandized that when you just state facts like this, like I'm doing here, these are just bullet point facts. A lot of people that have been propagandized by the idea that we're in some sort of climate catastrophe, it really shocks their worldview. And it's difficult for them to accept this now. And I've encountered people where I try to have a normal conversation with them, and they're so indoctrinated that you can't even agree on facts, unfortunately.
Now, here's the interesting aside, which leads from what you were just saying. No publicity on this whatsoever. None. If you hadn't brought it to my attention, and I follow the subject, I would have never known that the U.S. Energy Department, by the way, primarily during the Biden administration, did this and found that everything they're screaming and cawing about is not accurate.
That's an accurate. I would agree with that statement. I think there was a lot of environmental policy that was being pushed during the Biden administration that really didn't have a lot of sound science behind it. I've got 2 more bullet points here to cover what this report entails. Natural climate variability, data limitations, and inherent model deficiencies indicate that solar activity and other factors, such as we discussed, volcanoes, may contribute significantly to the late 20th century warming that all the media outlets have been screaming about, which challenges the CO2-centric narrative. Now, if you've been following this over the last 20, 30 years, the focus has been on CO2. In my opinion, and in the opinion of the U.S. Department of Energy, that is
under
erroneous.
Joe Biden. That's important to say.
It has been focused on CO2, seemingly when that is not controlling our temperature, it's not controlling the climate. It is one of many, many factors. And as this report points out, the inherent model deficiencies, such as things we just don't know about the climate, cause these predictions to be wildly inaccurate. There is no climate model on this planet yet that can accurately predict the warming that we've experienced over the last, say, 20 to 30 years. Even if you give them the data from the past using that, they cannot predict what has already happened. So how can we use them to predict 20, 30, 50, 100 years into the future if they can't even use the last 20 years of data to predict today?
And hundreds of trillions of dollars of expenditures and a reduction in quality of life and living standards for American people in particular, and working and middle class people specifically. That's crazy stuff. It's what we've been saying. And by the way, as you know, their big solution to all of this is battery-powered cars, which net are worse for the environment.
I'm going to drill into that a little bit here, if you'll allow me.
Yeah, we're going to take a break. Let's do that because it's important that not only are their conclusions completely specious, their solution, if you accept their conclusions, is completely wrong. Mark Margavage is our guest. He's a local meteorologist who does all of this on a national level, and one of his passions is climate change. He's with us. We've talked to him before. Happy to talk to him again and always. We'll take a break and be back with Mark Margavage after this. Elvis. This date, 1961, Murph tells us he released that great song, Little Sister. And, of course, Richard Nixon, this date, 1974, resigning the presidency. And irony. No, it's not irony. It's coincidence. It's close to irony that he was nominated for the presidency this date 6 years earlier. Bob Cordaro back with you, WILK. A couple of comments and texts. Wow, Bob, this is perfect. The perfect Ponzi scheme, meaning the Green New Deal. Democrats, give me all your money and all of the control over your lives, and I'll save you from the disaster that's going to hit us in 10 years. The gullible public, okay. 10 years later, no disaster. Democrats, you're welcome. And another says, hey, Bob, you played Only the Lonely by Roy Orbison. Maybe you could change it for the Democrats and call it Only the Baloney. Have a great weekend, says Fred Duckman. And I had read to you years ago and saved the article, an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal by Bjorn Lomborg. And he basically says, yeah, there's climate change. It always happens. The argument over how it's happening is almost irrelevant. Some very moderate things need to be done to adjust to it. Back to Mark Margavage, our local climatologist, our local meteorologist who follows all of this stuff. Mark, you said you had another point on EVs. Fire away, man.
So, yeah, where we left off there before the break, my last and final bullet point is probably the most important one and touches on what we were discussing there. The report emphasizes that U.S. policy action, so like anything that we would do in response to whatever we think the problem is regarding the climate, whatever those actions would be, are expected to have an undetectable direct impact on the global climate.
Yep.
And the reason for that is because the United States does not emit enough carbon dioxide to have a substantial impact should we reduce it. Countries like China, India, they are emitting far, far more CO2 than we are. So like you said, if you accept the narrative that CO2 is bad, the policies that the Biden administration was attempting to implement would have had undetectable direct impacts on the global climate. Any measurable effects would only emerge after very long delays. We're talking 50 years plus to have any sort of measurable impact from these policies that were proposed.
And Mark Margavage, here's the one thing just for the audience, and I know this gets repeated, but not enough. Carbon dioxide is 0.04% of the atmosphere.
Correct. And the current concentration of CO2 in the atmosphere is right around 420 parts per million. I want to point out that throughout all of Earth's history, it has been much, much higher than that. It has been as high as like 2,600 parts per million. In recent Earth's history, during the last ice age, it got so low, if it were to hit 150 parts per million, reminder, we're at 420, so we're closer to 150 than we are to what it was at its maximum in Earth's history. At 150 parts per million, there's not enough carbon dioxide in the atmosphere for plants to breathe. So if we were to ever remove CO2 to the point where it dropped to 150 parts per million, which it got very close to
we die.
Pre-industrial times, everything dies. Everything.
The insanity of the establishment and the left and the Democrat Party, it mystifies me. It astounds me. It frustrates me. But this is what it is. Man.
If you look at I challenge your viewers, go out, find a satellite image of Earth taken from outer space, one of the first ones in the late 50s, early 60s. Take one of those pictures and compare it to what Earth looks like today. What you're going to see is that Earth in the 50s and 60s looked like brown like a desert, and now it's lush green everywhere. There has been a huge increase in the leaf coverage and plants. There are plants growing in areas that were previously too dry and hot for plants to grow. So the main point of this report is that we simply do not have a handle or a model that can incorporate all of the different factors that play into the complex system that we call the climate. So it's impossible for us to accurately predict what's going to happen out into the future more than, a year or two. We can't even predict what should be happening today based on the last 20 years of data.
Mark, this discussion and this report should be front and center for every single policymaker in the country and in the world, and up yours to the global elite. Wow. Thank you, my friend. So
You're
happy
welcome.
you brought this to my attention and that we got to talk about it on the air. I look forward to the next time you come to us.
Absolutely. I should add one last thing, that the context to which we're having this conversation, the first 7 days of August have been the coolest since 1981.
Thank you, Mark. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
That's the
You have a great
exclamation.
weekend,
That's
Bob.
the exclamation point.
It is indeed.
All right,
Thanks
man.
for
Have a
having
great
me,
weekend.
and I hope you guys learned something today, all your listeners.
Mark Margavage, he is a meteorologist, and he's our guy that helps me out on this climate bullspit. We'll take a break and be back. Our Veterans Tribute this hour and every hour, this day and every day, brought to you by our man John Basiliga. And as we head into the weekend, we start to think Basiliga Hospitality and their great properties. At the Bloomsburg VFW, they've got a stone, and it says, "What is a veteran?" And it coincides with Sam Elliott's message there. A veteran, whether active duty, discharged, retired, or reserve, is someone who, at one point in his or her life, wrote a blank check made payable to the United States of America for an amount up to and including his or her life. That is honor, and there are way too many people in this country today who no longer understand that fact. Two who did, who we celebrate this hour. Carl Robinson, Pleasant Mount. He passed away at age 82 on July 29th. He'd been preceded in death by his wife, Bernie, who passed in 2013. They were married in 1968. Carl Robinson was born in Carbondale, member of the St. Catherine Drexel Parish, Pleasant Mount. He was a graduate of Forest City High School and a veteran of the United States Army National Guard. He was a self-employed dairy farmer, a dedicated lifetime member of the Pleasant Mount Emergency Services and the former Belmont Fire Company, where he served in a number of roles, including chief. Surviving are two sons and other family members. Carl Robinson. Paul DiPaolo. He was 93 when we lost him July 29th. Formerly of Taylor and a current resident of Springville. He was born in Scranton. A proud U.S. Navy veteran who served during the Korean War. Longtime member of the Iron Workers Union and the founder of Riverside Rigging. A skilled woodworker. In addition to that, he took great pride in building his lake home and found joy in fishing and spending time with his grandchildren. He's survived by his daughter, 10 grandchildren, numerous great-grandchildren. He was preceded in death by his beloved wife for 61 years, Veronica, and tragically by two sons, Dominic and Paul. Paul DiPaolo. Our great veterans, brought to you by John Basiliga and Basiliga Hospitality. We're thinking weekend. It's Friday, baby. Old Brook Inn, 307 Springbrook Township. I'm telling you, whether the front bar, the back bar, fine dining, they got it all. Far Street Tavern, the reimagined neighborhood bar in the amazing Trips Park section of West Scranton. The Queen City Tavern. Check it out, guys. If you've been there before, you won't believe it now. It is a great stop. The Queen City Tavern, the main drag in Oliphant. Fine dining on your mind? A Terra 519, downtown Scranton, 519 Linden Street. The Stegmeyer Mansion, South Franklin Street, Wilkes-Barre. Two of the best dining experiences I'm telling you you will ever have. Sergei's, the nightclub. It'll be hopping tonight and tomorrow especially. And it's not just for kids. I've had fun there myself. I've had a blast. And the Scranton Art House. Movies on your mind? Not a better place to watch.
Thank you, Bob. Now it is time for the Storm Tracker 16 forecast, brought to you by meteorologist Joe Snedeker. Mostly sunny today with a high of 85 degrees. Overnight tonight, clear skies with a low of 60. Sunny for tomorrow and Sunday with a high of 85 on Saturday and a high of 88 on Sunday. 74 degrees and sunny right now here at WILK AM and 103.1 FM. Time to get back to the Bob Cordaro Show on WILK.
Well, what does that music mean? We started to talk about football. Well, it means the Pie Man cometh. And I can't help but laugh because the Pie Man. Hey, there he is, man.
But goodies, Bob.
Your mayor and John Fetterman just putting us right where we need to be. Hi, Pie Man. Welcome back
Happy
for a new
Friday.
year.
Yes, yes. I'm kind of torn, Bob, between this pregame analysis discussion or your round of golf with Vic Fangio.
we were both awful. we were better at football than golf. We'll say that.
Bob, we're we have a pretty high bar to live up to this year.
Of course,
after that three-way discussion we had with the weekend warrior,
Yeah.
the pre-Super Bowl analysis, that was amazing.
Well, your job is to we set the standards high, and your job is to leap right over it.
Up and away.
Well, Pie Man, they played last night. So,
Yeah.
All right, tell me, you got to give, we don't have all day, and we took up some of your time, but tell us what's happening, and what did you see, and what's the year look like?
Well, I want everybody to write in their calendar February 8th, 2026. That is the Super Bowl 60, which is going to be at Levi Stadium in Santa Clara. So that is our end goal. Let's put that right out there to start, Bob.
Okay.
What I saw last night was they won 34-27. And, of course, we know it's only a preseason game. But, Bob, we see what Howie Roseman has been doing aggressively in the offseason, which is adding depth. He's been adding depth to this team, and he's been aggressive about it. They had, Bob, an A++ draft. This kid, Jahad Campbell, is going to be one of the stars of the NFL. Their backup quarterback, Tanner McKee, oh, my God, he's 6'6", accurate, is commanding the huddle. He threw for 20 for 25 passes,
Wow.
250 yards, and 135 passer rating. So, we got the depth now, Bob.
Well, you know what? That's a big deal that they did not rest on their laurels because, as you know, post-Super Bowl seasons are usually a disaster.
Right. Yes, absolutely. And, they've been talking about – they don't want to talk about repeat. They've been talking about, focusing on starting from scratch, which I think is a good attitude to focus on. Because, all the other teams are getting better, too. In fact, Vegas has the Buffalo Bills ahead of them to win the Super Bowl.
Okay.
So, and also, Bob, I want to mention that, they're going to have the roughest schedule in all of football coming up.
Because a lot of people don't realize they adjust the schedule to what you did last year.
Right.
The difficulty of the schedule, yeah.
Right. So they got the they got the replay of the Kansas City Chiefs right off the bat, a second game of the season. Then they got the Rams.
All right, Pie, let's cut to the chase. Pie, let's cut to the chase. What do you got? What are you seeing? We know they can win it. Do they?
I say yes. And you and I do our predictions of total wins. I'm saying they're going to repeat last year's 14-3 record, What do you think?
I don't know. And I don't care either. That's why I have you on, because I don't care.
All right. Well, I care enough for the both of us.
Good,
so.
good.
Yeah,
Well, I
we're
love
do
it.
14-3, and I think they're going to march right into the Super Bowl 60 and win it.
All right. I love it.
Thank God.
Well, Pie Man, as one of our great listeners, I think it was Navy guy said, he said, my prediction is that Pie Man will predict the Eagles will win.
Just a quick one. The Eagles not only, were the Super Bowl champions, but they've been really pushing to the limits these new, ways of doing things like this weaponization of the RPO evolution. Jalen Hurts, that RPO. I mean, they're taking this to a whole new level.
Well, and you got Fangio. That's all I say.
Right. His philosophy of that too high, they have too high safety philosophy, which prioritizes.
You're going too deep into the woods here, Pie Man. We love you. We love having you back. Thank you, Pie Man. We'll talk to you soon, brother.
Buddy.
All right, man.
All
Great.
right, take care.
It's just great to have you back, brother.
All right,
The Pie Man cometh.
I'm here. Go Eagles.
The Pie Man cometh, and now the Pie Man goeth. Well, we won't play it out because of a shortage of time here. Eric Burden and War moved up to number 4 with their hit, Spill the Wine, Murph tells us. This date, 1970. By the way, my gal Michelle, she tells me that Gutfeld hit a home run on Jimmy Fallon last night. I meant to bring that up. A couple of you had texted in about it, and I kept interrupting myself. I saw clips of it. I didn't see it, but I saw clips of it. The guy's natural. He's comfortable in his own skin. He's confident in what he believes, unlike the other twits of late night. That's why he's number 1 at late night. Also, by the way, that they were smart enough to put him at 10 o'clock, because I ain't waiting till 11:30 to see any of them. But, yeah, Gutfeld had a great appearance. And thanks for reminding me, Michelle. And my man, Johnny and Ellie, we're back and forth on Johnny throws this polenta party every year. And he moves the date around. I swear he does. He claims it's the same date every year. So he texted me about it. And I literally could not live for the year without this food on this party, the polenta party. And he moves the date. I swear he moves it every year. And so now I have something that I'm supposed to do on the date of the party. And he says, no, it's always this year. And it's not. It's not always this date. He moves it every year. By the way, Andy from Daleville texted, he goes, the Eagles do not have the most difficult schedule. The Giants do. And then he shows me ratings. Giants, Lions, Bears, Eagles, number 4 difficult schedule. And he says, nothing but a Homer Eagle fan, the Pie Man is. And by the way, Andy, unapologetically so, and I love to make fun of him for it. All right, we're gonna sneak. Well, let me talk to him. My man Wayne from Einan, how are you, brother?
Very good, my friend. How are you doing, Robert?
I'm doing great. Hey,
sounds
Wayne,
like you're having.
now
sounds like
listen
you're
to me.
having a fun day.
Oh,
Yes.
always when I'm with you guys. Now listen, we could either do a quickie or you can hang on till after the news, and I'll promise I'll come right to you.
Okay, I'll hang on.
All right,
No
my
problem,
man.
Rob.
I
Thank you, Rick.
appreciate that. I appreciate it. All right. It is time for the news with Brian Hughes, because as I look at my Bacardo Jewelers watch, it tells me it is 11 o'clock on the nose. We'll be back after this. Great. Good morning, everyone. Thanks to one of my favorites, one of my new favorites, Congressman Brandon Gill. He calls it like it is. One of the best questioners on any panel in the U.S. Congress. It is 11:08 a.m. on my Bicardo Jewelers watch, reminding me, and we'll talk to Alex Bicardo later this hour, but it's hot cars and cool watches this Saturday at Bicardo's. Love it. This is the Bob Cordaro Show for a Friday, August 8th, 2025. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. And it's a big day to fight for America, defend our values. And with the help of our man, John Basiliga, and his great Basiliga hospitality to honor the brave who have made us and kept us free. People like the veterans we lost this year, but salute today, like Paul DiPaolo, formerly of Taylor, a resident of Springville, Carl Robinson, Pleasant Mount, born Carbondale, Eugene Leto, Freeland, born Hazleton, Eugene Leto, Ravenna, Charles Borchetta, Hazel Township, Andrew Hyde, Einan, and Bob Seasoltz, Bloomsburg. So with history, our great founding fathers, and the incomparable Constitution of the United States of America as our guides, let us continue today's battle. Gaveling back to order this meeting of the Club for Common Sense. Bob Cordaro with you. You can call or text us, 570-883-0098. And it's Wayne from Einan. Hey, Wayne, thanks for your patience, my friend.
No problem, my friend. I just want to say great music for number one. Okay, where you're holding.
That's our man Murph. Yep, that's our man
okay.
Murph.
Number two is I agree with the Pie Man. Okay, from a former All-Scholastic Tech Red Raider.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
and Vietnam veteran.
And Vietnam veteran, yes.
but you know what? I put them on equal plane because I'm a Tech fan because that's where my grandmother went.
Okay. Okay, and also God bless all those vets you just mentioned. Okay, and number three is, okay, I think Mark should have a talk with Al Gore. Okay, to explain how the world
Al Gore's
really works.
making too much money, and he's got this scam down pat.
yeah, he does.
He won't listen to Mark Margavage. He won't.
And people swallow it all up. That's the amazing part.
and Wayne, the interest, maybe the most interesting part of that is that this study was compiled during the Biden administration.
Yeah,
somebody would have got their legs broken if it had ever been released under that crowd.
Oh, that's for sure. Yeah. It could have been worse. It might have found them floating in the river.
Yeah, honest to gosh. Lord.
Well, you have a great weekend, my friend. That's all my comment was.
All right. Well, thank you, Wayne. I appreciate it.
Take care.
Always good to hear from you.
Okay. Take care, my friend. Bye.
So, yeah, there it is on the environment. And why do the people on the left wear flak jackets? I don't get it. Like, why wouldn't you want to know and say, oh, geez, was I wrong about that one? Man, I wish I knew. Well, boy, that changes my outlook. Do you ever hear those words? And you have these fools from Texas fighting, again, with this democracy nonsense. They're denying democracy by not going to vote in Texas legislature. Again, they always do the exact opposite of that which they claim, and they always do what they're telling you you cannot do. It's a remarkable thing. So they're denying the democratic process in the state of Texas. And every place they've gone, and the Democrats who've yelled the loudest about gerrymandering in Texas have already done it in their state. Someone sent me a summary of this, and I've got to find it. Might have been my gang Club for Common Sense. Or Mark Mayer. I'm going to look in both texts. But the bottom line facts is that the states, like just the perfect example, this idiot mayor or governor of Massachusetts, talking about fighting fire with fire. There is no congressperson from the Republican Party in the state of Massachusetts. None. Zero. And it's about 40% of the vote in that state. Zero Republicans. And you could go through the whole list. California, New York. That was the list that was presented to me. It's insane. So how do you talk to these people when they don't want to even, they don't care. They really just don't care about fact, truth, and reality. Now, he's on the phone, and I've got to debate whether to take this or not, because his last appearance here, he was a disgrace. He was a disgrace. But, Jake, let's do the theme song. Be ready with Jackie Gleason. Well, here he is. Frank from Wilkes-Barre. Hi, Frank.
How you doing, Bob?
Now, Frank, last time you were a sickening disgrace blaming Trump for the deaths in Texas. If you've got more of that in store, if you have more in store of that nonsense, if you have more of crap like that in your wheelhouse today, then hang up now. If you're going to be stupidly evil,
I gotta hang up, huh?
If you're stupidly evil today, then we're going to wrap you up fast. What do you got?
Oh, what do I got? You're taking care of that Texas. You gave her a nice new place to live, Max.
Frank, what the hell are you talking about? What are you saying?
Who?
Frank, I told you. Tell us what's your point today. What do you got?
Well, why did you give her a reward?
Who?
Maxwell, Epstein's girlfriend. She was in a prison and she got moved to a motel.
No, she got moved. She got moved.
And Donald Trump moved her to another prison in Texas.
The Bureau of Prisons, which is the Bureau of Prisons, which is not run day to day by the President of the United States, Frank. I don't know if you know that. But they moved her to a reduced security level prison. She's in prison.
There's no guards, there's nobody there.
Has she escaped that you're aware of?
What?
Has she escaped that you're aware of?
What are you talking about? They moved her there.
Yeah, and she hasn't escaped with this place with no guards that you claim she's at.
Yeah, she did. Why?
She's still in prison, right? She's still in prison, right, Frank?
Why did she?
Frank, I don't know. Number one, number two.
I know.
Number two, it would make sense if they're trying to get her to speak about all of the perpetrators who were involved with Epstein. We still don't even know his.
Did he tell me that Al Capone's a great guy? Yeah. You got somebody like that, you're going to trust her. The only reason she moved him because she wouldn't.
Well, Frank, there are ways to verify.
Yeah. You don't
Murderers.
know what you're talking about,
Yeah, I know I don't. Murderers are often witnesses for the prosecution.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
like-
you had them in your trial, right? You had guys.
Yeah, people who are involved in crime are often testify for the prosecution. So
Yeah.
I don't. You're not making a very good point there, as usual.
You know why? I mean, you gave her a reward. They said she mentioned that Donald Trump was not in Nick Epstein's files, and the DOJ. Pam said it was in
Frank,
there,
the last
100 times.
time they were buddies, and he ended their relationship in 1997, I believe, and that was it. So, okay.
Where you get information from? Fox News?
Frank, I get it from a lot of places, and thank God I don't get it from you.
Yeah, you get it from who? You don't get it from Joe Rogan. He can't believe Donald Trump did what he did. Promised he'd get the Epstein's published, and he won't do it. There's nobody that likes him. I mean, you go to Canada, you go anywhere, you take your MAGA hat and the shirt and go to Canada. See what they do to you. Donald Trump turned everybody against
Frank,
us.
you have the worst case of Trump derangement syndrome that I've ever experienced. It's actually, Frank, I've got to help. You've got to tell me when you're ready to cross the street. I will personally come down and get you across the street because I don't want you. Because you won't even see the bus.
I'll come up and call you.
Frank, you won't even see the bus that's coming.
You won't even see a rapist. If he raped your daughter, you'd probably vote for him.
Frank, you performed up to standards. Thank you, my man. We'll take a break and be back. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. when I said the 5 stair steps. Murph tells us this date, 1970. I didn't know their name, but I know that song. It was number 10 this date in 70. Ooh, child. Bob Cordaro back with you. Somebody says, oh, Frank Friday. Somebody texted in about it sounds like Frank, scene from The Godfather, and we had to play it for you, and thank you. It isn't La Familia Friday. Somebody says, holy crap, don't take calls from Frank anymore. He's as bad as Biden. You can't understand a damn thing he's saying. Don't take his calls anymore. Someone else thinks that when you disarm Democrats' talking points with truth, fact, reality, and some common sense, they can only respond with Trump's a rapist or he's Hitler. Frank is no different, says Tom from Dallas. I know. Another, Bob, can you tell Frank all these Democrats in his administration, Department of Justice under Joe Biden, if they had all this information and didn't release it about Trump, which is, I mean, it's so obvious that there isn't anything damaging about Trump in the Epstein files. They would have used anything to destroy his candidacy, to destroy his life. By the way, somebody pointing out this, and I saw it, 3 more victims of the September 11, 2001 attacks have been identified. Bodies, body parts, obviously. Thank you for reminding me that. I'd seen it in my reports early this morning and forgot to get to it. So thank you. Isn't that incredible? All these years later, nearly 24 years later, and they're still trying to identify people. Amazing. But anyway, yeah, somebody said that's what lead in Wilkes-Barre's tap water does to people. I know. I don't think there's lead in the water. I think Frank's got as my man Tony said to me, he said his case is not the worst case of Trump derangement syndrome. It's terminal. And I think it is. I know. I want to give him a chance. This is the church of perpetual forgiveness here. I try to live my faith, and I said, by the way, I was actually angry at him the last time. when he spewed that hateful nonsense. But I said, let me give him another shot. Well, I mean, he performed, I guess, as we expect. But at least it wasn't foul and disgusting. So maybe we've made a turnaround. I don't know. Well, speaking of all of that, it's time because I look at my Cordaro Jewelers watch. It tells me it's 11:30 and 25 seconds. So we'll take our commercial break. We'll hear from our great sponsors. We'll come back and do our Veterans Tribute and the weather. Jake will have the weather and then more. And you can reach me, 570-883-0098. We'll be back. Our Veterans Tribute this hour and every hour, this day and every day. Brought to you by John Basiliga, a brand in and of himself. It means excellence, means value. The company we feature today is Basiliga Hospitality. Robert Bob Seesholtz, Vietnam veteran, founder of a garden center. He died at age 77 on July 31st. He was from Bloomsburg. His home was in South Center Township, where he lived all his life. Born in Berwick, he graduated from Central Columbia High School, 1966. He attended Penn State University and graduated with a bachelor's degree in agricultural mechanization. He faithfully served us in the United States Army during the Vietnam War. June 15th, 1970 to March 31st, 1973. In 83, he was married to his loving wife, the former Susan Drum. For more than 51 years, Bob was self-employed as a farmer and business owner until his retirement in 2017. He successfully founded and managed Sees Holt's Greenhouses and Garden Center. Member of the Open Door Christian Fellowship, Bloomsburg. Also a member and at one time president of the Columbia County Farm Bureau. The American Legion, he was a member there. The NRA. Surviving his wife of 41 years, Susan of Bloomsburg. 2 sons, 2 stepsons, a stepdaughter, 4 grandsons, 3 step-grandsons, an adopted granddaughter, an adopted great-granddaughter. Robert Bob Seesholtz. And this, the youngest veteran we've ever honored. Andrew Hyde. He was but 21 years old when he died as a result of injuries in a motorcycle accident, July 26th this year. He was a graduate of Valley View High School, class of 2022. He enlisted in the U.S. Navy after graduation. He was an outstanding athlete at Valley View, member of the District 2 Championship Valley View football team, and selected to the Pennsylvania All-State second team. He played in the county team for the Dream Game and was a member of the Valley View track and field team as well. Andrew enjoyed the outdoors, especially hunting and fishing with his family. He set his goals high and always strived hard to accomplish them. He was a jokester whose smile lit up the room. Surviving this 21-year-old veteran are his parents, father and mother, paternal grandparents, a twin brother, Anthony, and other family members. Andrew Hyde, a tragedy. Our veterans today brought to you by John Basiliga and Basiliga Hospitality. From the Old Brook Inn to the Far Street Tavern to the Queen City Tavern to a Terra 519 in the Stegmeyer and Sergei's the nightclub.
Thank you, Bob. Now it is time for the Storm Tracker 16 forecast brought to you by meteorologist Joe Snedeker. Mostly sunny today with a high of 85 degrees, clear skies tonight with a low of 60. And then sunny for tomorrow and Sunday with a high of 85 on Saturday and a high of 88 degrees on Sunday. 76 degrees right now here at WILK AM and 103.1 FM. Time to get back to the Bob Cordaro Show on WILK.
Hey, Pop P, he's on patrol. Apple Street in Dunmore is safe for another day. This date, 1983, Murph tells us, the Police released their hit, King of Pain. My man John Perillo says, more Rodney. I'd love to throw him in there. Hey, before I forget, Mother Teresa, St. Teresa for today. Mary Regina will forgive me, but I don't want, I'd rather simply get it done than have to beg forgiveness. August 8th, it is easy to smile at people outside your own home. It's so easy to take care of the people that you don't know well. It is difficult to be thoughtful and kind and to smile and be loving to those you live with day after day. This is especially true when we are tired and in a bad temper or a bad mood. We all have these moments, and that is the time that Christ comes to us in a distressing disguise. We do. Do you notice that? And there's many fathers that raise their kids this way. You know, Mr. Personality outside the house, but they thought they had to have a different persona in the house. No. St. Teresa urges us, show your love, show your affection within the home and to those closest to you. By the way, Razor just can't forget about the itsy bitsy teeny weeny yellow polka dot bikini. He just can't forget. Somebody else sends, they say, I just contacted Cordaro Jewelers for information on a pocket watch repair. Oh, a pocket watch. The young lady who answered the phone was so delightful and pleasant to deal with. I'm looking forward to working with them. Thanks for leading me towards them, Bob. Love the show. Enjoy your weekend. Thank you. And thanks for calling Cordaro. Look at these spots. These are family businesses that we love. And I don't endorse it. I'm telling you, I don't endorse anybody just to make money. Yeah, of course, that I want to. I endorse and choose who I endorse. It's maybe not the other way around. Of course, they've got to agree to it, but I call on people that I want to talk about, and then I do. So I can vouch. I had to do some vouching in prison, so I know that we need to take it seriously. Somebody texted in, Bob, how about a shout-out for the Kielbasa Festival taking place today and tomorrow in Plymouth? It is fabulous. We were talking about that in the first hour. I love that. It's an amazing event. I'm not going to be able to make it this year, especially I would have loved to. The Bulldogs, he's a... and I believe I'm saying once again, I believe he is a judge for the contest. A second thing, somebody had texted in. They had said, did the Bulldog have to take today off because he had to do the weather reports? Well, that may be the case. I don't know. Oh, Lord. Well, Jake, let's do the 2:45 now. Why not? And then we'll go into the commercials because my man, Rick Bigelow, he tells me it's 2:45 right now, 2:45 in the morning in Noumea, New Caledonia. I'm hoping I could remember that because when I look at my Cordaro Jewelers watch, it tells me it's 11:44:30. So we're ready for all of that. Genesis, this date, 1986, they released their hit, Throwing It All Away. That's what Murph tells us. Bob Cordaro back on WILK. Countrified checking in. The Dunmore guy moved to the country. I don't know what we have, especially Italian guys. For some reason, the Italian guys from Dunmore move out to the country like they're hop-along case at each. I don't know. Anyway, Mark from Hazelton, his joke is so awful that I don't even get it about kielbasa. Because it is kielbasa festival time in Plymouth. I've got to tell you, I urge you to go there. And I got to go there. Look up Winnebago. If you don't like kielbasa, you got Winnebago. And you get one of these amazing steak sandwiches off him. What is it? It's a steak burger, I believe. I'm trying to remember what the hell it is. But I go crazy for it. But you got to check this out, this kielbasa festival in Plymouth. It's fantastic, I'm telling you. You might even see Larry. Oh, Lord. Our listener says the pocket watch that he called Bacardo's about to be repaired was my father's railroad watch. I work on the railroad as well and will be retiring soon. Hopefully I'll get my own pocket watch. How great would that be? Oh, that's neat. Well, thank you for working on the railroad. Huh. Amazing stuff. Yeah, I'm telling you, by the way, a quick headline. You've seen what's going on in Gaza. Now, the editorial page of the New York Post, they said it right, that Israel has not the right, and I'm going to add, the duty to finish the job in Gaza. Yeah, there's human suffering. It's caused by who you elected to lead you, Hamas. It's caused by what Hamas, who stole billions of dollars from you, it's caused by them using it to kill people and enrich themselves. And until the Gazans come up with a leadership that not only can sustain itself, but that can acknowledge Israel's right to exist and truly mean it, not just say it, then Israel's got the right to occupy that territory. And it is blown to smithereens. Certainly their cities are. On one of the most beautiful, by the way, they need a fresh start after decades of rule by Hamas and the PLO before that. And it's one of the most beautiful pieces of land on the planet that these savages have screwed up. So please don't treat the Gazans as if they're normal. They are not. They're savages. And they've elected a savage leadership. Yeah, we've got to have compassion. They're people. Understood. There's good people among them. By the millions, I'm sure. What did we do to Germany when Hitler took charge? What did we do to Japan when Hirohito took charge? Yeah, the people are going to suffer by whom they've chosen to be their leadership. It's what it is. So, yeah, Mark, we don't have time to do your stupid joke. Anyway, let's go to Luciano. He's been patient with us. How are you, Luciano?
Thank you, Bob, for taking my call. I'm speaking as a biblically speaking. Biblically speaking, in the Old and Hebrew Bible, the Torah, and in the New Testament, the Christian Bible, what Donald Trump and his co-host and his administration is doing is absolutely biblical, absolutely Christian, because in the Old and New Testament it says to take care of your own, that you should honor thy father and thy mother, and after that it says take care of your fellow human beings, your citizens, meaning you take care of people that are living in your country. That's why.
Well, that's sort of why we have a government. And you know,
why,
Luciano, I always compare it to this. They say this. You get on the plane and they say, look, if we lose air pressure and you've got to get the oxygen, you know, the masks drop down, put it on yourself first. In other words, you can't help anybody if you're not breathing.
Yeah, so that's why the Old Testament is absolutely right. And as a Christian, I'm very conservative, probably more than you. But it is not contrary to biblical teachings to take care of your own. That means take care of whatever race lives in your country, black, Asian, Muslim, Christian, and Latino like me. And one last thing, Bob, I'm glad that what Donald Trump is doing. I'm glad with who he surrounded himself with, and how he's enforcing the laws and regulations of this country, and the Mexicano administration is absolutely furious.
We are on the right track, my man. Thank you. I appreciate it so much. Hey, policeman's prayer. Because we're doing it for the second time because of the two great state policemen who were stricken yesterday, recovering at Geisinger CMC. Lord, bless the ones who wear the badge, the ones who walk the beat, protect and keep them safe while they are on the street. As they wait and as they watch, doing good for all, guide their minds and give them strength for each and every call. Ready to put their lives on the line, give them courage each day. Let them know you're always there in each and every way. So bless the ones who wear the badge, protect them from harm. Always keep them safe and in their loving arms. Well, yesterday afternoon, I had the blessing to know a guy by the name of Billy Fox. And he died young at age 57 suddenly. And his service, which was jam-packed over in Manuka, South Side. And I want to dedicate Tomorrow Never Comes to him because we didn't know we were going to lose him. And this is about, think of it, it's about so many people you may never see again. Reach out, touch, let them know you care, all of that. Tomorrow Never Comes by Norma Cornett Merrick in the obit of dear Doreen Goria. If I knew it would be the last time that I'd see you walk out the door, I would give you a hug and kiss and call you back for just one more. If I knew it would be the last time, I would spare an extra minute or two to stop and say I love you instead of assuming you know I do. So just in case tomorrow never comes and today is all I get, I'd like to say how much I love you and I hope we will never forget. Tomorrow's not promised to anyone young or old alike, and today may be the last chance you get to hold your loved one tight. So if you're waiting for tomorrow, why not do it today? For if tomorrow never comes, you'll surely regret the day that you didn't take that extra time for a smile, a hug, or a kiss, and you were too busy to grant someone what turned out to be their final wish. So hold your loved ones close today and whisper in their ear that you love them very much and you'll always hold them dear. Take time to say, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, or it's okay. And if tomorrow never comes, you'll have no regrets about today. R.I.P. Billy Fox. Will Gavitt will close this meeting of the Club for Common Sense. Sorry, Tyrone, I can't take your call today. Give me a try on Monday. God willing, I'll be here. We're great to be with you guys. Have a safe weekend. If you can, have a fun weekend. I'll miss you, I promise. And I'll do my best to be here Monday morning. That's up to God, as we know. Have a great afternoon.
Well, the last 3 days, we've unfortunately had to start out with breaking news that is sad here at WILK. And, as I mentioned to Bob, and I'm sure Bob shares my love of children. He has a big family, he has children, grandchildren. And when people hurt children, I don't know why we can't do a better job of weeding some of these despots out of society. And it makes me so sick when I have to come here today and tell you that there was an arrest this morning in a case that was talked about in kind of veiled terms for the last couple of months, where I applaud investigators, by the way. I want them to take their time. I don't want them to rush to judgment on anything. I want them to be absolutely certain when they put cases together that these cases can be successfully prosecuted. So there's no hurry. I want them to take their time. But in the meantime, the death of this 11-month-old baby was in May of this year. What a beautiful, beautiful child. And it's just so disgusting and reprehensible to me that usually it's men, that men hurt these children. Sometimes it is women too, but it's sometimes men, and maybe they don't have any kind of child rearing skills. If not, don't get involved with women who have children. If you don't think you can handle the responsibility of small children, by all means, stay away from the women that have them. Only date women that don't have them. And please, hopefully you'll never have them either, because it's disgusting and it makes me sick. So what are the details of this case? We do have them. It was Wilkes-Barre police today who have arrested Quentin Riley Yachera, who is 26, from South Empire Street in Wilkes-Barre. He was caring for his girlfriend's child on May the 10th when the boy became unresponsive. And obviously there is a component of some sort of physical abuse in this case, which also makes me sick, because anybody that has little children that are about to turn one knows how precious they are. And I just, for the life of me, I'll never understand this world where you are so negligent that you are accused of involuntary manslaughter in this case. So I guess what police are saying is that the actions of this individual do not rise to some sort of a premeditated killing or something like that, that this actually happened in an accidental manner, which doesn't make it any easier for those left behind. And in this instance, there are people left behind, and it's so sad. So on May 10th of this year, this little boy, 11 months old, became unresponsive. He was taken to Geisinger, Wyoming Valley, and died during emergency surgery. Yachera is charged with involuntary manslaughter and endangerment of the welfare of children. These charges filed this morning at a magistrate's office in Wilkes-Barre. And again, this week has been just an exceptionally disturbing week in northeastern Pennsylvania. We have the case out of Butler Township, where you have the boy that was killed by a guy that seems like a lunatic, and was in his care. Whether he was adopted or a foster child, there's some conjecture, but there were other children in that home, 4 other children, and Lord only knows what they went through. Their mother is also incarcerated because she didn't do the maternal things that are necessary when there are men around that are violent and ruthless and brutal and psychotic, and leads to a situation where you have one child who was murdered, and you have 4 other children who were there. And how will that play out for the rest of their lives? It's just a terrible situation. When we choose children in our lives, we make a sacrifice. And that sacrifice should be all encompassing. We need to be selfless when we have children. We need to be, we may need to choose them over relationships. We may need to say we can't see you. We don't want you in our lives until the children are bigger. And I see a lot of women who nobly make this choice, who raise children on their own. And it is one of the toughest things I've ever seen because generally speaking, women don't make the kind of money that men do, and often they suffer because maybe the man won't support. And in these cases this week, I am just taken aback. So I would encourage all to have good talks with your daughters before they decide to get involved with a guy that maybe you have a suspicion about, and say, listen, are you sure you want this? Especially if they have children, especially if you have to say to them, put the needs of these little ones over the need of anybody else. I mean, this is your responsibility. I understand this is difficult, and I understand it's hard to be alone, and I understand it's hard to do things sometimes. But man, oh man, the cases that we're seeing here in northeastern Pennsylvania they're disturbing. And I don't know if things can ever change, because it just seems that time and time again, these cases do rear their unfortunate and ugly, ugly, ugly heads. And it just seems that time and time again, it seems that the red flags should be thrown up at points, and people need to get away from each other. Those decisions to sever ties with people, I do understand, are incredibly complex. And power to anybody who has the fortitude to do this, to take the children and to get away from maybe somebody who is a breadwinner or a provider of some sort of an extra set of hands when you raise kids and you have more people involved in raising them. Obviously, the workload is lighter, and you have a little bit more wits about yourself when you're trying to deal with it, because it's terrible what is happening here. And again, my heart goes out to the family of this 11-month-old who died in May, and of course having to endure an investigation that takes several months before an arrest is made, like it was today. My heart goes out to those families and to those affected. And it just, to me, I wish that it didn't happen. And I wish that more children were allowed to grow up in homes like we did, and had the two parents present, and two individuals who work together in order to raise children and give them every advantage they could possibly have in a way that is selfless. Also today, certainly there are other things that I would like to talk to you about on WILK. One of them does have to do with the ongoing story of these individuals, these executives with the Pennsylvania Turnpike, who, for some reason, because I guess the Turnpike is flush with cash, and helping consumers is not really where they want to be. They want to give out some lavish raises. And you could say that their excuse, I don't know what else to call it, rationale, reasoning, that they have to, quote unquote, maintain high-level executives, and the pay has to be substantive so those executives will stay, doesn't exactly ring true to me. It just seems to me that this is in a time where people year over year over year over year always pay more to use the Turnpike. And the cost of using it has risen astronomically over the years. Let's face it. You probably remember what, even if you just take, say from here, from Pittston Township to Clark Summit. When I was younger, what was it, like 65 cents or something like that? God only knows what it is now. And it's almost as though they don't want you to know because you have Easy Pass, right? And you have an Easy Pass that's hooked to a bank account. And the only time when you realize that it's depleted is when they take the money out of your bank account and they take whatever you tell them they could have. Mine is $70. And you realize, man, that goes fast. But in the old days, you had a physical ticket. It had all the prices on it. And when you got to the little booth, you paid. Now, I understand we're in the new world. Obviously, we want to be progressive. But don't you think there's a little part of this whole scheme with the Turnpike to keep you from realizing how much it costs you to travel it? Sure, you can probably go on their website and see all the expenditures and go through the rigmarole and see how much it costs to go from here to Philadelphia or across the state of Pennsylvania. And you could do it, right? But do you? No. Back in the day, you'd have the strategic plan. You'd have the $20 bill ready. You knew what it was. Now it's more of a mystery, right? And they kind of keep you in the dark about it. They just tell you when you owe them more. And you better put it in there so that you could have that replenishment in case you need to go somewhere on the Turnpike so they could charge you for it. Okay? Now, all that being said, with the escalating cost of traveling on the Turnpike, what optically does it look like when they raise salaries of individuals who are executives and involved with the Pennsylvania Turnpike Commission to exciting new levels? Is it because they're doing such a whiz-bang job that they deserve the money? Are they engaging in tactics and practices that keep Pennsylvanians using the Turnpike? Would you say that was true? Would you say that due to their acumen, due to their expertise, due to their skilled marketing campaigns and their determination to get people to use the Turnpike, and of course, any kind of upgrades that are beneficial to the Turnpike certainly help, right? And down by Philadelphia, I must say, they are doing marvelous work down there. But unfortunately, a lot of us don't travel to Philadelphia all the time. But those sections of the Pennsylvania Turnpike are coming along great. And they have really put their heart and soul into them. If you get on at Bear Creek and you're going to Philadelphia and you're going south on the Turnpike, up here it's like the Ho Chi Minh Trail. I don't know what kind of surface they've put on the road, but when you're rambling down to Lehigh Valley, doesn't it seem at points that you feel like, oh my gosh, do I have a flat tire? Is there something wrong with my car? Is there a problem here? So we do not really have, I would say, the same caliber of Turnpike as the rest of Pennsylvania has. And I'm sure there are other places where they've done some magnificent things and everything is hunky-dokey and it's really great. But from my perspective, doing this it just seems inappropriate to me, especially after they've been jamming it to people year after year after year after year to the point where it is fairly expensive to use it. Now, will you become a part of the class of people who says, you know what? I'm not going to use the Turnpike ever again because I am sick and tired of their ways and means. I'm sick and tired of their greed. I am sick and tired of these raises. Of course, that would be a very small percentage of people using the Turnpike. So they kind of have you a little bit over a barrel. I know that. But sometimes we kind of stew and we stir and we say, I'll show them. Is there anybody who listens that doesn't use the Turnpike to get to Philadelphia, that just uses what is it, 309. You can, and it takes a long time. We've done it, and I'm going to tell you, it's quaint. Okay, that's the one part about it. If you have a lot of time on your hands and you want to save the money, it is quaint, but it is not fast. Okay, so if you're trying to get there because you have an appointment or you're going to the baseball game or whatever, you probably won't do it that way. But is there anybody out there that is going to give them the silent treatment because you're just sick and tired of a lot of this stuff? Oh, and of course, all the unsolicited and false texts that you get that you owe them money or they're going to take your car away. But those are false. Of course, we know that. That's just scamsters who use the Pennsylvania Turnpike as a way to make their own profit. In fact, at some points, I bet they're doing better than the Turnpike because these guys are slick. Anyway, that's where we'll start. I also want to talk about the property tax issue again because something is happening, and it's not happening here. Before I've told you that lawmakers, here they're sort of lukewarm on doing anything about school property taxes. They've told us, and I don't know if it's just a convenient excuse, that this issue doesn't resonate anywhere else in the state, which I think is flat out insane. Oh no, everywhere else people seem to have the money to come up with the school taxes, and they seem to pay them willingly, which I have a hard time believing, but that's what we've been told. So now there is a woman in Philadelphia who has a constituent who has a problem with school taxes, and it's a dandy. And now this lawmaker in Philadelphia is saying, "Wait a minute, this does not seem right." Well, it hasn't seemed right for years, but all of a sudden, if we could get some of the other lawmakers across the state to be semi-interested in doing something about this, we may be on to something. Also, if you have anything else to add to the show today, on Friday I give you a little bit of increased latitude to get involved. If there's an event coming up this weekend you want to tell the people about, if you have something stuck in your craw, by all means, free it by doing the show if you want to be on. And I invite you all the time. Okay? 570-883-0098 if you want to join us here at WILK. We'll take the break, and then we shall return. So stay tuned.